I am going to tell you about the supposed apparitions of a woman that makes my breath hitch, of a woman in white who appears near, or at least very close to, the boulevard of my city. I will explain first for all those who do not know him that this boulevard runs on the outskirts of the city. It is more like a highway that takes you to another state in the country. It is also very close to the exit to the state capital and the border line with the United States until it reaches the sea. In between, the new colonies of very recent creation built on what used to be farms and farmland, in the middle of nowhere. Since then, and before the highway existed, my uncles had heard things. They used to go to that area to organize field days. I never had to go, but I knew from my cousins that it was a scary road. When they returned at night, they heard something that seemed to be the screams of a woman coming from the hills. Once I also remember that someone of them he claimed to see what seemed to be a woman's dress, walking through the bushes when they were already deep in the mountains looking for hares to hunt. A little more than 10 years ago the boulevard was built and opened that mountain area to everyone, which used to take hours to get to on dirt roads. It is an area where there are dozens of accidents all the time. I remember that a high school teacher told a friend and I about a strange apparition, which made him leave the on the way. He was returning from work to his home in the subdivision. During that journey in the dark, he commented that he was driving calmly on that road, when suddenly a woman in white crossed his path. He crossed very slowly to stop almost standing in front of the car. She said that she did not see her feet and did not move with her legs when walking. That is to say that it seemed that she was floating in front of the car. The woman only ended up on the side of the road motionless and observing. Then my teacher realized, he says, that he hit a sign trying to avoid the woman. When the police arrived and shortly after the ambulance told them that a cow had surely come across one of the nearby ranches, he did not dare to tell them the truth. From that story a few years ago I have heard of others for 10 years, of other stories, especially of the people who pass by that road at night. It is a very dangerous place where you always have to pay close attention to the road. But it seems that from time to time if you turn around towards the sides, it is very likely that you will see something out of the ordinary. At least that is what is said. I have been living in a new subdivision for a few months, a few steps from the boulevard. I use this road every day, but I try not to at night. Some other neighbor knows about these legends, but most of them have just arrived in the city or the area and still do not know anything about what was said. For example, my next-door neighbor is one of the few that we already inhabit. In the private one, he doesn't have much who lives in this city. He just arrived. That's why he still doesn't know those stories of apparitions. What he told me a few days ago surprised me more. He told me about a woman in white that he saw when he arrived at the house around 2 in the morning. A woman in white that she saw walking down the street looking from the outside to the inside of the private ones, as if looking for something or someone. I want to tell you that there are very few of us who already live here. The houses, they are just beginning to be occupied, and there are private ones that are still completely empty. That's why, because we are so few, it was also so strange for him, and that's also why it was so strange for me a few days ago when I heard a scream in the middle of the night. When peeking out the window, I would have sworn I saw a woman pass only 100 or 150 meters from where I was looking, and I can't be sure yet. It couldn't be up to here and the woman to this neighborhood, but when I recorded her with my phone and I was even able to convince myself that it really happened, I really saw it, the fact of finding it made me look for some explanation. Perhaps this colony passed on the path that I already had as a path of a soul in pain, this being perhaps, that spirit only walks guided by the roads. Perhaps before it walked through these areas looking for the presence of someone who could see it. I don't know. What I know is that these stories were previously limited to the boulevard, the dangerous boulevard, to that which that boulevard is an extremely dark and lonely road, and now if what I have seen is true, what they have told me, that woman in white who cries and wails loudly, is beginning to climb towards the neighborhoods that surround it. Such maybe tomorrow she will be in your neighborhood. Maybe now you shouldn't go out at night and avoid running into her.